IVM.
$100. That's all it takes to begin your journey with Bitcoin and Ethereum. No, really. With CoinSwitch, you can start investing in over 100 cryptocurrencies with just 100 rupees. On top of that, there are zero charges for deposits and withdrawals, so you can trade, buy, sell, however and whenever you want. All of this, plus their extremely intuitive interface, makes CoinSwitch the perfect app for beginners in the crypto space. But don't take my word for it. Just download CoinSwitch for free and try it out for yourself. If you'd like more information on cryptocurrencies, tune into a show about crypto with me, Rohan Joshi, my new adventure on IVM podcasts. CoinSwitch, kuch to badlega.
I just Googled the meaning of people pleaser, and the Merriam-Webster dictionary has this to say: a person who has an emotional need to please others, often at the cost of his or her own needs and desires. Did I just describe you? I know that in today's Instagram world, there are so many of you out there who have taken on this phrase and just plastered it like a label on yourself. It's like you've etched it on your forehead and you walk around with a people pleaser alert. Maybe you are a people pleaser. Maybe that's how you have been raised and you are conditioned in that way. Fair enough. Totally possible. But maybe some of you are role playing into it because it allows you to fit in and you don't even know that you are doing this. Hi, I'm Chetna. I'm a positive action coach and this is my podcast, Say No to Drama. Well, today I'm talking about the realities of being a people pleaser. Is everybody a people pleaser? In my opinion, yes and no. Most of us want to please certain specific people in our lives, no matter what. We want their approval and we also want them to feel proud of us. We want to be needed by them. We want them to rely on us. And also, when we say no to them for anything, we feel terribly anxious and uneasy with ourselves. Also, according to me, everyone has at least one such person in their life who they are trying to please 24/7. So does that make you a people pleaser? Or does that make you somebody who has an unhealthy equation in a certain way with one person in your life? And then there are those people who have to please every single person. I mean, nobody can ever have a reason to say that person didn't do something, or that person could not do something, or that person wasn't enough or wasn't there for them, or that person said no to them. Now think about which category you fall in. And if the first scenario resonated with you, please drop the people pleaser tag. You are not a people pleaser. But yes, you have an imbalance in one relationship, maybe two, maybe three. But you are not a people pleaser, not at the intensity at which you should be taking on that label and walking around. Why? Because you will start role playing into that label, which means that from being somebody who only needed to impress one person or please one person, or was not able to say no to one person, you will become this person who cannot say no to anybody else. So don't do that to yourself. If you are someone who generally knows how to say no 60-70% of the time, and no for valid reasons and for things that you really don't want to be a part of, right? Then don't take on the tag of people pleaser. As for the others who are so busy trying to please the whole world that they've given themselves a backache, a headache, migraines, sciatica, I don't know what other stress-related physical illnesses you may have triggered within you. But you really need to ask yourself, what is the point of this? Let's understand one very simple thing. There are a lot of things you were taught as a child. A lot. But not all those lessons stuck with you. There is a lot of stuff that you were taught that is possibly a good habit, but you don't follow through anymore. Secondly, there is a lot of stuff that you were told is very bad, and yet you built those habits and you practice it every day today. We call them vices. And the third perspective, or rather, the truth bomb in this episode, is that you are no longer a child. You are an adult. So, sure, you were taught to be an obedient child and you were taught to please people. Fair enough. However, you need to embrace some discomfort and make some changes now because you're not a child, you are an adult. I mean, how old are you? And I'm not saying this as a judgment or I'm not being sarcastic. I'm honestly asking you to respond to that question to yourself. How old are you? And if you can, at this age, build bad habits, then you can also change bad behaviors. Both require the same amount of work. Yes, in the bad habit, the illusion of a high or the illusion of a kick is more intense, and that's why we possibly do it that more often and build that habit that much faster. Whereas in changing a bad habit and going towards a better way of being requires so much effort, and it requires letting go of a certain kind of pleasure that it takes us much longer. We have that much more resistance to it, and we struggle that much more. But the bottom line of all of this that I have said is that you can change. You can stop being a people pleaser. You can learn to say no. You can be that person who everyone doesn't have to compliment or believe that, oh, look, there goes. Embrace the fact or embrace the feeling of people not constantly thinking or saying that you are a nice person. I mean, who told us that we have to always be nice? And like I said, there is so much that mommy and daddy taught us and we did not listen to. Why is this the one thing that we want to listen to for the rest of our lives? I mean, I'm sure your parents told you not to smoke, and I'm sure your parents told you not to drink, and I'm sure your parents told you not to raise your voice. And yet, there are so many of us out there who do all three or at least one of these. And yet, there are so many of us out there who still continue to be people pleasers because our parents told us that obedient children are good children. So, on a certain level, aren't we like being convenient? To the people pleasing person listening to this episode, learn to say no, and it will come with a certain amount of discomfort. Deal with it. It's okay if you say no, and for the next 24 hours, you don't feel very good, and you have 40,000 thoughts about how that person that you said no to is not going to think nice things about you. It's fine. On the 25th, 26th, or maybe the 27th hour, you will realize that, oh, life went on and everything in my world is still the same and I'm still loved. And that person who I said no to has carried on, maybe without being majorly affected, or then maybe they threw a tantrum and got upset and yet they'll get over it. Possibly they're already over it. That you are a nice person is not something you prove by saying yes to every single person. That last line, that truth, write it down somewhere and repeat it to yourself. And I will tell you this, if you are a people pleaser, invest in therapy or life coaching or healing and overcome this mindset. It's not worth living with it. If you want to listen to all the previous episodes, they're on the IVM Podcast's website and app, and you can connect with us on Instagram and Twitter. Our handle is IVM Podcast. If you would like to sign up for one of my programs to overcome the people-pleasing habit, you can reach out to me on Instagram. My handle is Positivity Angel. Or you can head to my website, chetnachakravarti.com.
Hi everybody, just wanted to ask everyone for a quick favor. We're running a brand survey right now and would really appreciate it if you could let us know what you think about the advertising on IVM. Go to ivmpodcast.com/survey and do let us know. As part of this, we'll be selecting 10 random participants and sending them some IVM swag, so do fill out those surveys. Hey everybody, it's been a great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On Cyrus Says, Cyrus talks to a close friend and veteran actor Dolly Thakur about her new book, Regrets, None, and her amazing career spanning over 5 decades. On Tere Mere Raaste, Keshav travels to the Pearl of the Hills, Mussoorie. Discover a city that cherishes her tourist spots as much as her famous residents. Our taglines, a relic of the past. On Sparta with Sid, Siddharth analyzes whether taglines still hold relevance in today's world. On GBCD, Farhad and Sunetra reflect on the perks and quirks of living with family. And on Hans Fonding, hear an interesting story, Neem Ki Pattiya, voiced by Casey Shankar and written by Sarang Upadhyay. Do follow us on social media. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And remember, if you're enjoying this show or any of our other shows for that matter, please do tell a friend. Also, do check out our various YouTube channels. You can catch them on IVM Podcast/YouTube. And finally, we'd like to thank our sponsors on the network this week: Cred, Bank of Baroda, Quota, CoinSwitch, Kuber, Flake Coffee, Intel, and Oxfam India. Thank you so much for making this possible.